It's another very beautiful, wonderful experience in Lagos, a very unique part of Lagos, Victoria Island, in Lagos, Nigeria, West Africa, as we meet a man of impeccable achievements, and let me also call him a man of impeccable integrity. In Nigeria, he's known as the Mr. Forthright, somebody who is forthright to a fault and who says this as it is, without caring whose horse is God. He's also a very dandy person, one of the best dressers in the world. A man who has seen it all and who have contributed to the body of sport and youth development in Nigeria, West Africa, and even around the world. I'm privileged to meet the scion of the late Chief S.B. Williams, a man who created sport in his own time and who made sport a very huge industry in Nigeria. His scion, Mr. Anthony Kojo Williams, a former N.F.A. chairman in Nigeria and a former scribe of the football body FELA in Africa. He's a very wonderful man. We've been trying to reach him for almost a year plus now, but recently he turned 60 and it was a good time to renew our chase efforts. And after 2-3 weeks, we are lucky to be in his audience. When we got information from his aide that is around the town, we came into Victoria Island today, and after little efforts, by God's grace, we are lucky to be with this great man, Mr. Anthony Kojo Williams. Sir, we still honor, sir. We are privileged to be with you, and we thank you for giving us this privilege, and we find it a very rare honor, because actually we've been trying to reach out to you in the last 2-3 years, but most of the time it's either you're out of the country or you're in the country and you're busy engaged doing one or two things. But today now, we're thanking God for the grateful moments. Let me start by asking that why have you been so scarce from the social scene, apart from the information that filtered into some magazines and newspaper in the last 3 weeks, I mean, that you clock 60, we've not really heard much about you, and we've been wondering, what is Mr. William up to? What is he doing? Why have you been so scarce on the social scene, sir?
Well, I would say good afternoon, Binga.
Yes, sir.
Nice having you around. Scarce? You've not been scarce. I do my own thing my own way. I don't have to be in the media glare. And I am just happy the way I am. So I don't know about being scarce. See, you cannot compare my lifestyle or what I did 23 years, 25 years, or even 15 years ago to what I'll be doing now. So my life, my commitment to the society has nothing to do with the social scene. It has to do more about the quality of delivery to the society, what I'm giving positively. That's the most important thing. And it's not about playing your horn or making so much noise. I don't believe in those things.
There's the perception that he's not, there's this perception about you as someone whose parties once in a while. I mean, not all the parties, choosing parties, stylish and all that.
Yeah,
is it that you are trying to?
I am still who I am. I'm not withdrawn in anything. But you don't have to be at all parties all the time. And you don't. Yeah, it's not about going to parties all the time.
It took us a lot of time for you. We got you now, so that was asking the question. It took us a lot of rigor, callings, and all that. It's almost like
I'm not a party person.
Okay, sir.
I'm not a party animal. Maybe if you see me at a function, okay, sometimes what I found out is just the little time I go out, then they come after me and write things and all that. But that's not, my lifestyle is not about parties. I've told you I'm not a party animal. I like good, nice social fun once in a while, but that's just it.
Let me ask you this.
I'm more of a private person.
Awesome. Because I know you to be someone who chooses his events. But let me ask you, at 60, a lot of people say you don't really look 60. Why do you think people feel that you're not up to 60? A lot of people say, oh no, can he be 60? No. Are you sure? Why do you think people have this misconception that you are 60?
Is it a misconception?
Yeah, because of maybe your looks, maybe the way you carry yourself. I mean, you
I don't
have
know,
a very young look.
That's divine from God. So it's not.
But
I'm not saying other people don't.
Are you truly 60, sir? That's what I want to ask.
Yes, I am 60. I beg your pardon.
So what's the secret? I mean, how you look? Honestly, you look 40.
Well, it's the grace of God. See, the bottom line is that contentment in life, and contentment, not chasing not chasing what is not yours, or trying to be in competition with anyone or whatever, and having that faith, that comprehensive faith in the God you serve, not in anybody's God. Because what people do nowadays, this is a society where they tell you, they want to teach you how to pray, they teach you how to do that, this church wants to tell you that. That's absolute trash. You must have a personal relationship with God. And when you have that personal relationship with God, it steers you to move on, to be within your well-being as well. Then of course, yes, you have to be disciplined. Disciplined in your lifestyle. You cannot do the things you did. Oh, I will not do what I did 20 years ago. We've all been, I guess, some people will tell you they've never been naughty, they're holier than whatever. I've seen it all, I've done it all, you understand me? So, but there's always a time for everything in life. There's always a time for everything in life.
Clocking 50. I think
so your diet also plays a very critical role.
Yeah.
Discipline about what you eat, what you put in your mouth, and then exercise as well is very important.
What you drink in your stomach?
Oh, that's very important. You can't keep putting alcohol in your system and think you're going to kill yourself. Maybe once in a while you can have a glass of wine, but I hardly drink anyway. So
I want to tell you that a lot of people will not really believe it. But what does it feel like being 60?
No. You see, I don't know. I don't see any difference. I still feel the same. The only difference is the maturity. The only difference is that maturity, the reverence, and also the Bible says we must learn to actually, in whatever we do, measure and count the days where we are here on earth. So sometimes in anything I want to do now, I always remember, see, you're just here for a while, so give the best with all sincerity.
Give the best.
Yeah, the best with all sincerity. In anything you do. So you give the best with love. Not the love of the ones you go and lie to your cheek and tell the girl that I love. No. With love. The big
profound love.
Profound love. Basically, the genuine love. People, loving your neighbor, loving your sister, the people around you, the nation. Having genuine concern and working towards contributing to the development of the society. So that's key.
I want to ask you this critical question. At this age, a lot of people will have liked to classify Mr. Williams as an elder. I mean, are you going to now tolerate this? They're going to say, okay, you are not an elder now. Can we say you are an elder now? You are elder or is society elder, sir?
I disagree. I don't know what you mean by elder.
No, at 60,
see, with all due respect,
what I'm saying,
I respect elders.
Okay, sir.
But to be an elder, I believe you have to have gotten to a certain age and earn that respect with dignity and everything before I can say this person is an elder. You understand me? But you would have reached a certain age. I don't want to be addressed as an elder because the day you start addressing me as an elder, you're pulling me back.
How, sir? Pulling me back?
Because I don't have that, yes, I have reached a mature stage, I am advancing in age by the grace of God, and I'm grateful to God that I have advanced and God is being my guide. But I am not going to start giving myself titles. I'm not going to let the typical Nigerian society start impacting or giving me a type of title or a sense of want in the society or a title in the society. What's an elder in Nigeria?
Hey, but
do you have the real elders?
Yeah, when they say you are elder, it means that a lot of people will come to pay homage and pay tribute to you. I mean, tribute of gratitude.
What tribute of gratitude?
No, gratitude say, oh, you are now our elders. That you are now Aswaju. I mean, you are 60. I mean, you are an elder.
I don't buy it.
No, sir. Even the church, they can make you a deacon now.
No. I don't want. No, they should. Thank you. I don't want that because those are all unwanted titles. I don't need all that trash. It's all rubbish. It's on. You see, the most important thing is being able to impact the society.
Okay.
And that is what I am doing. And I don't want to be given any title. So I am Mr. Williams, by the grace of God. So I don't know about this, your elder. When I am 80 or 90 by the grace of God, by God's grace, it takes me there 90. If you come and talk to me, elder, then I can think about it. But you don't come and sell that to me now.
But what I'm asking,
I'm not denying it, and I respect elders. And I know the ones I know, and I know them when I see them and I address them and I know they're real elders. But majority of the ones that the society just ascribes all sorts of titles to people, which is very unnecessary.
But what of
in Europe or in America, do you hear people calling anybody elder or whatever? Is that what they call even the president that is 70 plus? They call him an elder. So please, let's leave that issue there. Don't come and sell that dummy to me. I totally disagree.
Don't you call elders?
I disagree. I will never ever.
But what?
I will never accept
if we become more diplomatic and we say elder statesman?
I'm not an elder statesman. I've not attained that yet. How?
Because of your sense of
no, I'm not
leadership
an elder statesman.
And sense of
Maybe
reason.
even if I've attained a lot, I'm not yet an elder. So we should leave that alone. Don't sell that. I totally disagree.
Yeah. But let me go back a bit. What do you see in Nigeria of today? I mean, you've grown through the country when the country was beautiful. You were born in Lagos. I mean, you can be vividly described as a Lagos boy. To this Nigeria, to this Lagos, what aches your heart when you look at the gamut of governance, you look at the environment, the political ambience, and all that, and you look at the economy itself? What aches you? What gets you mad?
There's a lot. Number one, we've lost that orientation, the sense of discipline and exposure from a very early age. When we were growing up in Lagos, it was all about who are you, whose child are you, and in anything you were doing, they will always remind you, always remember whose child you are. Then your education. You see, the beauty of it all was that when we were growing up, I keep telling people, we all went to schools where, as much as your father was a very comfortable person, relatively wealthy, you had kids that were equal, that the parents were probably stewards or laborers, but they could afford the same school with the same standard of education. It was beautiful, and the beauty of it all was that whenever we left school, we could go to them, play with them. We weren't looking at them whether they came from a poor family. We ate together, we did things together, we played football together, we did that jump, we call it KKLEGBA, where you jump, high jump, you pay, we played table tennis, we did 10, we did all those.
You're talking about equality.
Yeah, there was that equality. That is not there anymore. We have destroyed the fabrics of that equality. The zeal and the national orientation that will move Nigeria forward has been destroyed. We now live in a very bent society.
Are you saying bent?
It is bent.
I was thinking it's derailed.
It's bent. It's bent. Our thinking is bent. Everything about us is bent. And we celebrate mediocrity. We celebrate criminals. It is in this country, I remember in those days, I was telling someone, many of the boys that became something in government or whatever were dropouts. Some of them were crooks. And the ones you see today are questionable characters. In those days, you could not even move into the system.
If you have such a
No,
reputation?
hardly. It was very tough. But now nobody questions anything. Everything's all about money now, power. So it's a total different, and Nigeria needs a total reorientation. Now, if we have leadership that does not evolve or carry along youths, 75% of the population of Nigeria today are youths.
75%, that's a huge number.
It is a huge number.
So it's alarming too.
Yes. No jobs, no power, nothing, no education. And we keep talking about education. The standard of education is so poor.
Indeed, yeah.
Now, all the rich ones have their kids in private schools, or their kids go abroad. We send the kids abroad with it. But I will say something now. All our kids are still coming back to live with the other kids. You have segregated. You have cut off.
So there's a high level of
It is only
segregation.
in Nigeria that you will find a primary school where when you go in there, no windows, no roof, no chairs, and you're telling me you're grooming leaders of the future, and those guys will now in the future go in and become members of Senate, or they're going to be very aggressive and criminal minded. The orientation is very poor. How can you send kids to school where they don't have windows? So when it's break time, they jump from there, jump through the open window where you have no windows.
Jump into the street from the window.
Yeah.
Or
No
into the
bags,
compound.
nothing. And then you tell me we're living well, we got a future. And then people have created a wealth division amongst themselves. They have hijacked different areas of wealth distribution in Nigeria
You're talking about
to the detriment of the poor. This youth,
you're talking about vested interest.
yes, even including the so-called house of God. And people they don't say the truth anymore. We celebrate criminals, liars, and then we say we have a nation ahead of us. We have to sit back. We have to really sit back and look at how we're going to work on a total reorientation of the nation, especially the youths, the ones that are 40 years down, for the future leadership of this nation. We have to start thinking of how we're going to regroup them, reorientate them, give them the proper education, expose them. How would you have a nation where history has been taken out of the curriculum?
History as a subject.
Yes. Do you know what it is? Do you know what history is?
It's so powerful. It's knowledge.
It's a key, it's a foundation.
Yes, of every society.
Yeah. And then you tell me that would not exist
In the curriculum.
when you talk, and that is why when you look at, I'm not on social media. I have no time for that.
Why?
But yeah, because it's trash. You have a lot of mad people with no clothing. You know, the Yoruba says there are a lot of wirialasho. So you have a lot of wirialasho, madman with clothing in that system. So they can abuse, they can say anything. They don't even understand the fundamentals of the nation.
That's crazy. Very bad.
And if we do not address these issues, it's not about, we want oil, we're rich, and where's the money filtering through? Where you have to ask questions.
Yes, sir.
Who are the ones benefiting from these things? The youths especially are not.
Benefit.
They're suffering, and they've been so bastardized. They've been given substandard education, terrible orientation. That's why you have kids youths into all this so-called Yahoo.
Yeah.
Can you imagine in Nigeria where I've never had that when we were growing up? How can you go and take a girl's underwear, undies, and use for juju? Afrotronics.
That's what is going on now.
Yeah, you're going to use it for Afrotronics.
It's not an industry now.
Yeah. And then all sorts of rubbish. I hear those things and I wonder. It's, see, it bleeds my heart. So, and it all has to do with the orientation.
But where did society fail? I mean, in your own days, when you were growing, there was check mechanisms. Your father, your mother were not just the only people that could spank you. They were just those people who went to the world. Okay,
spank.
Yes.
I remember in school,
happened?
if you messed up in school,
Yes, sir.
and a teacher reported or sent a message to your parents, your parents will follow you to school. And once that person, after they, that teacher, once a teacher tells the parent, see, this is what he did. Your parents will slap you. Your dad will jam you up. He will kick you, and then tell the teacher to discipline you.
Proper discipline.
Yeah, just cane your butt, spare the rod, and spoil a child.
That's the Bible.
Yeah.
But today,
the Western culture, they brought that rubbish. I remember once I didn't like going for parents, teachers, association meeting in those days, because I always got upset by what some parents would say. And most of these parents that talk are the ones that go to all these obscure schools and have just made money.
Yes,
and then they come and start telling you can't touch my kid. So I told them, I said, come. I asked one of them, which school did you go to? He was looking at me. I said, they can't touch your kid. What money have you made? He was looking at me. So I told the principal, I said, I'm going to leave this meeting now. But any day my son misbehaved, cane him, call me, I will come. And then I'll come and deal with him. So I left, I walked out. I'm talking about how many years ago? This was about 15 years ago.
Yeah,
so I walked out. So the principal came to me and said, Mr. Williams, I said, yeah. He said, you know the irony of it all? It's you people that are disciplined, that talk about your kids being are the ones that your kids are the most well behaved in school. That this I said, see, I've told you again, the day my son misbehaves, you cane him. I'm not saying you should injure him. Give him that nice lash and let me know. Then I'll come.
You can add up.
Yeah, I'll add it up. It will never destroy a child. I'm not saying teachers should abuse kids. I'm not saying one should be a wicked parent. I'm not saying, but see, there are times where you need to call these children to order. I've had some parents say, oh no, you can't touch my kid. Oh no, you can't do this.
That's bad.
Nowadays, children talk back at their parents.
Talk back?
Yeah. We couldn't talk back at our parents. Who are you? Even when you're here, I had a wonderful relationship with my father, but if you messed around with him, he will deal with you. He knew what to do. Even till when I was in the university, he knew what to do to me. He will just cut off everything, that supply.
Just like that?
Yeah, he will cut it off.
Why?
Oh, are you telling me? Who are you? He will take it away from you. Nowadays, kids have no respect. They have no manner of courtesy. So you see, so you cannot compare the type of exposure, upbringing we had then to what we have now. And it's very pathetic. It's heart-wrenching.
Let's go back. Let me take you back before we go back to the issue of parenting and child behavior in Nigeria. Growing up in Ibadan, in the children's school you went to.
Children home school.
Children home school.
Yeah, they always had to take me from Lagos to boarding school. I started boarding school as a 6-year-old boy.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
In Lagos?
No, in Ibadan.
In Ibadan.
They had to take me to school in Ibadan. So I left home. I left home as a 6-year-old boy.
Why did your dad do that?
Well, I guess my dad was very busy, and he was separated from my mom. So he was such a lovely man, but my mom was away, so he had to put us where, wherever he was away, there was discipline and all that. And I tell you, no regrets. I'm grateful I went through all that, because that has formed me It's like he had prepared me for the future. So nothing shakes me. The dry times, the hard times, you know. Because there in school, that's where you could see the future leaders of Nigeria, where they would still break your locker, steal your food, and beat you, and you see your senior wearing your socks and your undies, and you still beat you and steal your food. You understand me? These are the same people that are running the country.
Did you that to you, sir?
Oh yeah, they did that.
Oh, the reaction.
And they would take my Bonvita. And they would take this, the crisp off the Bonvita, eat the whole stuff. And you're very present. I was just a weak little boy.
My God. You didn't report your dad?
I'm not going to mention their names, but they're all crooks. They're still doing this. They've always done that from there.
From school?
Yeah. So these are the guys. You look at them today, that oppression, that oppressive. I was telling someone, I said, see, forget about that nonsense where they come and tell you that, oh, once you're born again, oh, your generational curse is gonna. Some people are cursed. See, the generation is all their crooks. Their father, mother, they want to come. All of them will always steal. They will always oppress. The oppressors, that thing will never leave them. It's in their DNA.
In their gene.
Yes. It's in their genes. They will never, ever.
That's painful.
When you're good, you're good. It's effortless. Even the so-called man that he calls himself pastor, that is posing and saying he's holy, when you go and check the genes, when he starts, you just let him get money and power, you see the way they start behaving, then you know, oh yes, they're part of the same system. You're laughing, but it's the truth.
And I'm just surprised because the pastor, you assume that Jesus has changed him, that he's new.
Let me rest. They just commercialize the calling him. I've told you, worshiping God is a personal thing. It's a personal thing. It's not about any man telling you anything. You have to develop a relationship with God. I have always had a personal relationship with God from when I was a little kid. I've always had an altar in my room from when I was a 5-year-old boy or 4-year-old boy. So
to communicate with God.
Yeah, I talk to my father. So who is one dirty guy to come and tell me any rubbish? And the majority of them are just motivational speakers, intelligent, and then they twist the Bible round.
Just imagine. I think that's
that's
an industry. Yeah, that's an industry.
It's an industry. Now you've hit the nail on it. It's
now.
A major industry. And that is another problem we have in the society. They so-called, I don't call them churches, these so-called churches that have sprung up in the last 30, 40 years have messed up the minds of people.
But that was what topic I was going to ask you. I didn't know we were going to jump into it so early because in the society of today, as it's now, you see a whole lot of things. And I was going to ask you that. I put a question to you before that. How did we fail? Where did we fail? And I was going to do a follow-up question to say, what is the role of the church in raising the next generation? Because when we were young, we went to Sunday school, this Christ Apostolic Church, and it was very, very keen. It was very strict. They teach us about the story of the Bible and those stories, ring in our head when we were in school and all that.
And that was maybe your generation was a bit later, but you want to talk about when we were even much younger.
Yes, sir.
At Sunday school.
Yeah.
And,
what was your own experience? And
no, it was.
You look at it today.
They taught you. You see, they never ever talked about. It wasn't. You never saw a priest or a reverend, number one, driving Rolls Royces or Mercedes Benz or flying jets or whatever. It wasn't about money. It was about reverence, the relationship with God, the spirituality, everything about God. You see, was transmitted. You were taught. The foundation was put in you. Unfortunately, and I'm going to go to some other areas. Unfortunately, with time, when the Pentecostal churches came in,
Pentecostalism,
the Pentecostalism, or like FELA call it, Pentecostalization, Because FELA always had that so Pentecostalism or Pentecostalization. So when that came,
FELA, said it.
They twisted a lot of things
In the area of religion and the Bible,
the foundation. Let's not only take on the church.
Okay, sir.
Even in Islam too, the Alphas too started twisting around because they saw what the other guys were doing. So they were sending wrong signals. Because you see, revolution in any society, the main religion is a very, very delicate thing. And even when people realize they've made mistakes, it's always difficult for them to pull out. And that's why I always tell people, see, don't go abusing anybody. You can tell them what the mistakes, where things are going, but let the Spirit of God convince them. Convict them, sorry.
Convict.
Let the Spirit of God, the Holy Spirit, convict them.
You're talking of conviction.
Yeah, that conviction to come out of it. Because you cannot hype it on them. It's a very deep-seated thing. Extremely deep-seated. And that is where the problem is today. Because even when they said, move away, there's no God in the Catholic Church, there's no God in Methodist Church, there's no God in Baptist Church. Are you saying those churches that have been there from the onset never had the Holy Spirit? How dare you come? The Catholic Church itself had its own problems down the line. The days of Martin Luther and the others, not Martin Luther King,
the German Martin Luther.
Those were the radicals that fought against Catholicism in a lot of areas. But the Catholic Church was able to reform a lot of things with its dogmas and a lot of things. The same thing the Methodist Church. And let me tell you, the spirit of those that God implanted those things in still is there. He will always revive them at any given time to come and reform. Those reforms will come.
At the right time?
Yes.
But are you not sure they are now coming out?
No, they've started.
No.
The reforms have started.
Okay.
But when reform starts,
the real reform.
Yeah. And then you see, when reforms start, you go back to the history. I've gone through the history of churches.
Yeah.
When those reforms, they even killed a lot of the speakers.
That was the days of
they imprisoned,
Yeah.
They imprisoned some of these guys.
Renaissance.
Yeah, but down the line, they knew that what they were saying was the truth.
That those that were killed were truthful.
Yeah.
That they were.
Absolutely. So, those things, I'm not saying they've started threatening people's lives. I've heard some young men of God, some of them that come and say the truth. I think one guy they can't really stand is Adelaja.
Yeah,
the young man.
Dr. Sunday Adelaja.
I don't know whether he's doctor or not, but I know he's Sunday Adelaja.
Yes.
He's fantastic. But he also has his own, he's not perfect, but the truth is being said. The other one I'm not really interested in, but I'm going to talk about Elijah. You know, he knows what he's talking about. The Spirit of God is in. Those are the radicals, the new radicals in Christ. That God is impacted, His Spirit in, to talk about those reforms. But when those reforms are, you cannot force it on people. The conviction. You see, because there's a lot of spiritual manipulation going on in churches.
That is sad reality.
Serious spiritual manipulation.
How do we know? How do we
get
get
God will tell you, and you will see with time. So all those things evolve with time. But you see, the thing is, when you see these things, when the Holy Spirit, when God or people of God tell you the truth, you have to be able to count your losses and walk away. You don't stay in there as a slave.
I understand now.
No, you don't stay in there as a
slave. You relocate.
The most important thing is your relationship with God. Whether you're Muslim or Christian, because I'm tired of all this discrimination or running people down. Who are you to tell someone that he will not go to heaven? Who are you to judge anyone? I'm not to the state to judge anyone.
I want to ask that, how do you know a motivational speaker from a pastor?
Oh yeah, they're very good at the raps. They're very good at, you see, when you sit down and somebody takes the Bible, turns it around, and he does not describe. actually talk about what is in that Bible in verbatim as it's written. And then you take it and you start giving them a total different norm, you know, to make it sound so good. And you also take it and you reverberate it and move it in a direction you want the people you want those things to suit you, so that the people can follow you and listen to you and give you money and all sorts of things. You tell them, no, you shouldn't go to that church because God is not there, or you shouldn't go. And that is why you have a lot of criminals running around as so-called pastors. They have also picked that norm to fool the people. Look at Nigeria today, where you have the so-called pastors of putting legs on women and kicking them, touching their breasts, doing all sorts of
things. No, a pastor even remove his suit that he's going to be touching his sweats.
Can you imagine that dirty man?
No, he's the son of the I think that was something like that.
So when you see these things, it's very disheartening.
There are lots more than that going on.
So Nigeria itself, in the course of reorientation, in governance as well, the so-called, when we have the true leaders, have to regulate these churches.
But yeah, I was going to ask you that. Yes, I was going to ask you that. Do you think we need a regulation body for the church? No, because we have
No. Listen. Okay, it's not about the church only.
Okay, sir.
It's
religious bodies.
Religious bodies. There must be regulation. Because when you're talking church, it's like you're only attacking Christianity.
Okay.
But it's just that the Christianity is so commercialized. Even now in Islam too, they've started having videos, they started having night whatever. Excuse me, where did all that start? So we have a cross-cultural defect. The nation itself is in a mess. We're bent. And you see, if religion is not curbed, if it's not regulated, that is where, look at what has happened. Most factories today are churches.
Yeah, I know that's the biggest pain, sir.
Yeah.
Old factories.
Yeah.
Michelin, even some of those places that were used for cocoa stores, all the rest.
And then what did they do? If you remember when we spoke,
yes, sir,
recently,
yes, sir,
we were talking about herbal medicine, and I told you that listen to what those pastors say to people, that you shouldn't use this thing, that you should come, they will pray. But our forefathers, our parents, the one generations down, used those things. God was the one that showed them those things to use for different healings. You understand me? And then you come and tell them not to use that stuff. And these things has healed people generations down. Their forefathers benefited. What we did was take our birthright, throw it away, and let the Western whatever beliefs. The Western, I'm not saying religion or Christianity. Christianity is, yes, it's Christianity. I'm a Christian. And I practice Christian and I believe in it. But you're not going to come and tell me that those things, those herbal things that God had given the people of God, they are also of God.
Vegetables,
herbs for healing, for wound, for different things. And then you come and say they should not use it.
A lot of pastors say no.
And then you kill these people for nothing.
Yeah, they should.
You have also these so-called healers all around.
No, they are sending holy water, holy oil, and they peg it.
See, you yourself, when you pray, you put your holy oil in your house and you pray in your room and you tell God, you use your psalms, you will get that anointing. The oil will be anointed. So a lot of people don't know this. See, people have been bastardized. They have played with their minds. They have rubbished their minds.
And caged it.
People have been enslaved spiritually. When you talk about spiritual enslavement, I told you the spiritual manipulation at the highest level is worse than witchcraft. But it takes time for you to understand. A lot of us have gone through it. We've seen different things in life. But thank God that one's eyes opened.
At the end?
Yeah, the eyes were open to see the truth.
But 10 years ago, I think 10 or 15 years ago, I was in this house and some of these issues cropped up, and at that time it was not too healthy to talk about them. And I think some of the friends were here, and the issues crop up about church, about manipulation, and everything. Why do you think these realities are now coming out now?
The time has come.
And because I knew you were supposed to be one of those who should have said it through them, because you are at the high level. You saw everything. You are the peak. I mean, you saw it. It happened to even you yourself. So why is it now that people are now saying it now?
Yeah, because there's always time for everything. There's time where the Spirit of God moves. You understand me? It's not that Pentecostalism itself didn't have credence.
Okay.
It's not that some men of God took well. Some men of God started well, but later with power, money, and influence, they threw God away. But then they threw God away and started using the power of money. Did you hear Christ ever criticize government directly or spoke about elections and governance? He said, give to Caesar what is due to Caesar. He said, he said, pray for your leaders. It's God that chooses leaders. How could you now want to segregate and say a man, he's Fulani, so you should not vote for him, he's a killer, he's this and that. But then you're saying you should vote for another Fulani man, that one is not killer, he's not a killer, because you've collected money. So you're playing money politics in the presence of God, and you think God is not going to question you? Keep lying. You know, there's always a time where the Yoruba said, Ajatu or failure demo. We call it, God God's come back, the man is thrown God away because of the dollars and whatever.
Ajatu my son.
To my son. So what is son? They lost. So it's very sad. So all these issues, and then look at it. Everybody wants to go to university.
Is there anything wrong there?
In all developing countries, not everybody goes to university.
That's another menace. I think you hit it.
Not everybody goes to university. You have technical colleges.
Yes, sir.
You have different colleges of education. Different colleges you have vocational training. You have different things. You have sports.
Arts colleges.
Arts colleges. Why can't we develop those things? Everybody wants a white-collar job. They want to work in a bank. They want to work, and the latest they will tell you, I'm in oil and gas. Which oil are you gassing? We're fake.
Oh, oil and gas indeed.
Not everybody has to do that. Everybody's not going to be a billionaire. Everybody's not going to be a millionaire. Everybody's not going to be a civil servant. Everybody's not going to be a president or a minister. What are you going to contribute to the society? But the major thing is, the major industry today is the church.
And they're almost everywhere. Even on the streets, every street, you can see like 5, 6, 7 churches. But there's a particular building now going on the internet. A building where we have like 7 or 8 churches. I think 8 churches on 4-story building, I think, in Lagos. How many? 3-story building. We had 8 churches with different banners. So you can imagine when the vigils are going on.
Government should come and close the thing down.
Oh, how did government come in? Close it down. They say it's God's own thing, and they
Which
start
God's
cutting
own thing, my foot.
I mean, when you climb this,
look, we should have legislate the thing and bring them down and pull these things out. Churches will be there. Let them go to the proper churches. Those places are like shrines.
So these buildings are. You can see the churches. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7 churches. It's a big building.
So are you telling me that it's not becoming, it's not commercial? That's pure.
This is another church at the end to this.
Are you telling me we're worshiping God?
All of them are trying to just worship God. This one is making his own noise there. The other one is making the noise there. The other one is making the second floor. So
are you telling me they should shut them down? Look at what that guy did in Rwanda.
Paul Kagame?
Yeah, he shut the churches, shut them down. He didn't shut the major churches down. He said, see, let you go and get certification. And if we're convinced, we will let you open church. You can't just come and open a church. If the regulations, of course the major churches will stay.
And those are the churches that are managed by, that are administratively managed well, not a personality-oriented church. There's also another analysis that came out on the internet whereby the 4 richest churches, Catholic, Corpus Dei, Church of Latter, and Latter Christ something, you have 4 big churches around the world that are rich. But when it came to Africa, and most of the popes of those churches were poor, but when it came to Africa, Redeem was not among the 4 churches that are rich, but we have Bishop Oyedepo, Oyakhilome, Adeboye, and some others who are the richest, but their church were not as rich as they are. So, does that say something about church in Nigeria and Africa?
It says a lot about, look, I don't want to start mentioning, it says a lot about the society, it says a lot about the churches, the so-called churches, it says a lot of things. There was a pastor that was upset because his name did not feature in the 4 or 5 or 8 richest pastors in Nigeria. The man was upset.
I can't believe this. Upset?
He was very upset.
His name was
his name was that. He's a billionaire. Why would his name be that?
And a man of God.
Please, I don't want to hear that thing, man of God.
So it's sad.
So, see, the bottom line is this. We need a total reorientation. A national reorientation. It goes beyond all this. And you see, we're not one. We are. And then another thing I want to tell you.
Yes, sir.
When these guys come, the Igbo man comes, when they're all eating, stealing Nigeria's money or sharing it, the Igbo man, Yoruba, Hausa, they sleep with the same women. Their girlfriends are all from different parts of Nigeria. They share the same money, dollars. They do everything. They party together, big time. But you wait. When they leave that place and they want to fool the people, they say, oh, we're being marginalized. Oh, you see, we should go to the center. The center, he has worked money in the center. He has Rolls Royces, he has everything. And the stupid idiots that come from that part of that state will start support. He's our own. He's our own. Let's support him.
You should not arrest him. Yes, you should not probe him. He's our own.
It's because of the standard of education and exposure. They purposely make sure people are poor, downtrodden, uneducated, so that they can keep manipulating them.
Before we round up with the Nigerian issue, because it's a very tough issue. We're going back to sports really, but let's go back to growing up under your dad. Your dad is a very respected Nigerian and a man who lived in his own time. He lived a very different life. And from things we heard about him, he was also a generous giver, a blind giver, somebody who elevated a lot of young people. As the first son, how would you describe Chief S.B. Williams? Who was he? Was he, to you, was he a very hard father or a true father?
No, he was my best friend.
Yes.
He was a father. He was my friend.
Okay, sir.
He was my confidant. He was very exposed, and he was ahead of his time in everything. Very cultured man, and he was a giver. He was very generous to a fault. He loved humanity. He loved doing things. And he never should. He would never let anyone know whatever he did. I only get to know about a lot of things he's done now because people see me that I don't even know and come to me and see your father sent me to school in Europe or America. He did this for me, he did that. Oh, he helped me do this. So it's fantastic. And that gives me joy. But he was never a man. Someone told me once, he said, see, Anthony, this is what your father did, but if it was somebody else, he would let people know. I said, that was not him. So, he was just a fantastic person.
But have you been embarrassed by his big gesture anywhere? Maybe people embarrass you?
Oh yeah, publicly, yeah.
Okay,
people
tell
say
you what he did.
What he did, and I'm almost saying, please. Yeah, I don't want to talk about mentioning this, but it's amazing.
But why did you think he lived that life? Why? Life of
he was a God-fearing man. He loved God. It's not until when you go go to church. That this way goes back to what we say.
Yep.
So he loved humanity. You see, because you have to show love to people, your neighbors. He was a selfless person, a giver. So.
But did you pick any of those habits from me?
I don't know. I cannot speak for myself. You want me to start praising myself?
But looking at him, his last days, how was it like? I mean,
I don't want to talk about his last days.
No. There are people who have the perception that he passed away in his house.
No, please, don't. Let's go to that. Emotional. No, I don't want to talk about all that. Please.
But if you had to write a book about him, how would you describe him in the book? How are you going to title the book? Your father.
I don't know yet, but I'm going to write a book on him, and it will go in the direction of the most cultured man of his time.
Along there's a particular head of state that used to call him the white man in black man's skin. You know the General Ibrahim Babangida.
Yeah.
So why would they call him that?
He's very cultured man.
Okay.
Very proper.
Yeah. Oh my God. And your mom, who was she too? I think she passed away. Is it about 10 years now?
No, 6 years.
6 years ago now. She's from a royal home in Lagos and all that.
Yeah.
So how did it touch your life? How did it influence you? Growing up
great woman.
Under her tutelage.
Because
your father.
I'm grateful to God.
Okay,
I love my mom and my dad.
Your father appeared aristocratic.
My mom too. So they all had it in them.
Okay.
They did those things effortlessly, and both of them were extremely generous. They were kind souls. So let's leave it as that. I'm not going to say more than that.
Now, coming back to Nigeria, at the time you were N.F.A chairman, I think you were 39 then.
You want to start talking about N.F.A?
No, we have to go back there because things are going bad now, things are going wrong. At that time you brought a lot of very drastic reforms, and these people we call the Jurassic dinosaur decided to kick you out. I mean, you are the shortest term N.F.A chairman, 90 days. But those things, if you are doing this, if you are doing the second time, a second chance, will you still do it the way you did it? Because you are trying to be open, you are trying to be honest with them, you are trying to tell them that this is how it is done. But unfortunately now, how many years now after, I think 20 years after, 20 years after now, a lot of people can now see, okay, this is what he was saying and this is what he, and because things have gone so bad, gone so wrong. You are talking about creating an academy, creating a good under 17 football team, creating a good league that can stand anywhere in the world, and not a pajawiri, catch them quickly for an international event thing. So if you are given a chance to go back into that glass house, will you do the same thing you did at 39?
Number one, I will not go back to that glass house.
Why?
That dirty place. No, that place is cursed. You'll have to look for somewhere else to go to. I'm sorry to say.
But what really happened and why? Because your father started, or your father...
No. What really happened was that you just had a group of people in the ministry, the directors. I don't want to mention.
No, sorry, because we're just coming from General Vaji's house now.
Yeah.
He's a former army consultant, and he has been an inventionist, and he also said the same thing about government, that bribery in the power, in the corridors of power. He was trying to. He was trying to present an invention, present an idea that could solve the health situation in Nigeria, and it was all about bring this, bring that, until the man decided to sit and look. And we are coming here to, your case seems similar because you are trying to bring a lot of reforms and we are trying to be straightforward and all that. But they say you don't throw away money, that you don't know how to steal and spread money around. So, but why won't you want to go back to the glass house? And if you're given a chance,
they have a better building they built. They should go there, move in there. That glass house is a very filthy place. That's why I said don't move to glass house. They have another building that they put in place. That's where they should all move to. That place is.
What is the experience teach you then?
No. See, let me.
If you had to write a book about that experience,
we're not going to get out of. We won't get off the seat here. So, see, let me tell you one thing.
Okay, sir.
Youth development is very key in what we've talked about.
We know.
But most importantly, in football, you need to develop kids from age 5, you have to start exposing them to techniques and tactics till they're 18, and then you have to be able to get them into a league. Number one, we have very poor coaches, we have poor environment, training facilities. So those are all the things. See, what I was talking about 20 years ago is what the Manchester United and the others have done in just how many years, and they've gone far, or Man City or whatever. So it's not a rocket science. And until we do those things, we're not going anywhere. We'll keep lying, getting players from just anywhere that are not exposed, that are not good enough,
trained
for us,
kitted.
Take them to play games and then win some obscure games and celebrate it. So the other things are the facilities. Then the other thing is the league. The league is a disaster. If you watch the Nigerian league, it's the worst league in the world. You look at the teams across board, very poor standard. No tactics, no techniques. The coaches are poor. I'm not saying Nigerians, you can never get good coaches out of Nigerians, but you have to train them. You have to expose them. And you have to set up regulations that will make them meet standards. You understand?
Yes, sir.
It's not about playing to the gallery or telling you after winning one match or some couple, oh, we have won this one. No. So, but it's something that you need. I was telling them was that, see, if we do this systematically, by 10 years to 12 years, 15 years, we'll be at the world level, top. We could even go as winning the World Cup.
But why?
Because the boy, no, it's possible. Because the kids you start training now, that let's say you start training those boys at age 5.
Yes, sir.
In 15 years, what would they be? 20 years?
Yep.
Then they start. And then apart from the 5-year-olds, you have some that are 9. In 15 years, what are they?
That's 16 years. Now 24.
24.
24 years.
Then you have
24.
another group that are 12 or whatever, or 15. In another whatever. So you have the but the ones that are going to be the best, that will take on the world in the next 15 years, will be those ones between the age of 5 and age 9. They're giving them the proper training, the proper exposure, the same tactical ethos, day in, day out, going for competitions at the world level, and monitoring them and taking them from one age group to the other. That's the only way we can excel. When you look at some players in England today, Jadon Sancho, or what's his name, all those young boys, 18, 19, that or Doer and all those boys, they're celebrating. It's what they've done. They were able to build those kids. Or you look at Sterling, they were able to give them that exposure, that training. But you see, the thing is that the question you should ask is,
yes, sir,
the guys in there, do they know those? Do they understand it? No, they don't. It's all about what is in there for us. What am I going to steal? What am I going to make? What am I going to take away from this system?
Wow. I'm tired.
That's it. No, that's the truth. Nothing, forget it. Don't fool yourself. It's all about what can we gain from the system. You're not putting anything back. You're not putting anything. All you keep doing is taking out of it. Hey, come on. Football is all about standards. And there's class to the game. When you watch good football, when you watch beautiful football, there's style and everything to it. It's not something you just got up to play. And then another thing is the coaches. You need to train them. You need to expose them. You have to give them standards. You have to look like the age 5, age 6, age 7. You should be able to have standards, coaches that will work with them. You train those coaches. You bring some coaches who work with them. Let them go through proper certification. No, because those youth coaches or the coaches working with those little kids, you can't go and bring a coach that will be shouting at those children, "Hey, you come here, okay." No. It's pure pedagogy. No. You don't want a bushman shouting. But he must understand what it is. He must be able to draw those kids closer and impact those things in them. And that takes time. But it takes time. But the problem is, are we ready? We're not ready.
The discipline is not there?
No, we're not ready. We are a bunch of fake people. We're liars. We sell rubbish they go to the press, they go and tell the head of the, oh yeah, we won this game yesterday, our girls won that. Is that what we're talking about?
Oh my God.
So, we got a long way to go.
But if time has to, if there's a reincarnation or time will rewind itself back, find yourself on that seat, what will you do differently?
I will never do anything different. I will still do all the things that are supposed to be done to take us to where we're going.
And I remember at the time you were called to create a football college university, and you created the best for 2 states in Nigeria.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about it.
What is the modem? What do you think that should have been? I know the politicians.
They were the best.
No, wait.
The two were the best in the world.
No, wait. It was politicized. It's just like what General Vaji said, that we cannot drag.
Yeah, you know why I don't want to keep talking about it, so it won't seem as if I have anything against it. So let's leave that.
Yes.
It was done, and they messed it up.
By the politicians.
Yeah, so good luck to them. Where has it gotten them today? Nowhere. You build such a lovely institution, a world-class one, and you destroy. And you know one thing, whatever somebody has created, someone's mindset,
yes,
and he puts it in place, and you get rid of that person and think you can run with it. You can never run with it. Until that person,
but that's the black man syndrome.
Yeah, you can't run with it.
That's the black man syndrome. We are good at that. We are good at that. So a lot of people also look at it and say, oh, why is the government not seeing him? It could be a fine.
No, I don't want to go into all that.
You don't want to go into that?
No,
okay.
Let's go into that.
Maybe position of presidency. Find yourself
No.
Just don't go into that.
I don't want to talk about all those things.
You don't like politics?
Yeah, so that's basically it. I'm always available if we able to advise and put things in place and get government to, get people to do what they're supposed to do. You cannot, not that I'm totally isolating myself.
Yeah. But if you have a chance to encounter with the president, now what are you going to tell him?
I'll tell him everything.
Yeah.
I will tell him, I'll explain, I'll give him everything. Work it out, tell him, sir, this is the way forward. And he can go anywhere and find out in the world whether what I'm telling him, anybody, they will attest to it and tell him. See, I'll tell you. Let me tell you one thing.
Okay, sir.
Nigeria in '99, when we were hosting African Nations Cup.
Oh yeah.
Good. So I was in Ghana. It was Ghana, Nigeria, Ghana.
Okay, sir.
And I want to tell you today, and you can check from Sir Bobby Charlton. And I had dinner with him with Garth Crooks. Garth Crooks used to play for Tottenham. He used to be the head of the professional footballers of England. He's a journalist. He's a top guy with BBC. And we had dinner. And at the dinner table, I was talking about the concept to put in the football college and what we needed to do and all that. And he said to me, after I placed it, we were talking, he said, we don't even have that in Manchester United. Where did you get that idea from? That was 20 years ago.
20 years
I'm
ago.
not saying this, I'm not boasting about it. It's the fact. Garth will tell me. Garth used to ask me then, Kojo, where did you get all this idea from? He said, we don't even have it at then. He said they didn't even have it there.
In Manchester?
Yes.
And today
Sir Bobby Charlton told me. He said they didn't have it there. As of that time, 20 years ago. And Manchester United had one of the best youth development system then. But the concept I was talking about, they didn't have it. So, I'm as ahead.
Are you disappointed?
I'm not disappointed. I'm never. Sorry?
Are you disappointed that Nigeria treated you this way?
I always feel sorry for them. I always feel sorry for them.
No, for Nigeria?
I feel sad. It's very painful.
Yeah,
because not disappointed. It's very painful when you know the things we can do to get some, and then you have all these crooks and liars and fake people coming in and lying, imposters.
I don't know what to
You have nothing to offer. So that's it.
So
that's it.
Well, is that you're on FIFA for 10 years or the
10 years.
Yeah, first side as a member, international member. What was your how did that influence Nigeria? I mean, for the FIFA.
From my little part of FIFA committee. I was representing
So
Africa.
how did you treat the Nigerian issue then? When you sit at the meeting,
you treat everything holistically.
Because I like the
laws and decisions and everything. It's not just about Nigeria. It's about Africa as a continent.
Okay. That is the Confederation of African Football.
Yeah. So that's basically it.
But if you look at the system today, Nigeria, you look at the youth, the people, the young people, as I've said earlier on, that we have a confused youth system. We have people who are now dedicated to Lotto, dedicated to drinking gin, Rugolo every morning. Some are smoking, they take it religiously, and some are always on the internet, scamming and all that. As a role model, and as a person whose gene is wired into developing young people, how do you feel? Don't you feel sad that in 10, 20, 50 years now, that in 10, 20 years now, we're going to have a lot of horrible people running around and say rogues, thieves, criminals? And don't you think there's something that needs to be done urgently?
Yeah, well, the honors is not, you don't expect only government to be involved in this matter. The so-called leaders, businessmen, corporate bodies and all that have to come together and look at how.
You said corporate bodies, just take me to corporate
corporate
responsibility.
Yes, so
okay.
they all have to come together and trash out with transparency, where you have a strong group that can pull all these things together, conceptualize and put it in place, and have a very good board of trustees that can run those things according to the vision and making sure that all those things we're talking about meets, comes in fusion and works in the society. Is it sports? Is it vocational? Is it technical? And it's all interwoven.
Yeah.
It's not only football, it's all interwoven. From athletics to boxing to, and then to arts, and where Nigerian youths are creative, they're sharp. That's why they're doing all those crazy things, because there's nobody there to give them that opportunity and exposure. Nobody. People have all walled themselves away from the world, from the country itself. The youths are just there on the streets,
doing what they can do, just doing their own.
Those are the key issues. It's not just so, the responsibility about government. Yeah, it would be good to government to steer it, but everybody has to come together to rescue this country. The youths are the future, and we bastardize them. It's a very wicked society.
Wicked indeed. Now, let's go back to your age at 16. What are those things you don't do again that you used to do years ago?
Benga, you mind your business. Leave me alone.
What
are those things I do? I'm not going to tell you. That's my personal.
Wait. You don't do this, wake up and you go to the gym.
I
remember I follow you to the gym. Sometimes they go, you and Aliko, Dangote and all the rest, and some of those bang MDs. You used to do.
I still train. I still go to the gym.
And in the last 60 years, can you recall some of those friends that you would be grateful to, who have kept you in the circle of good friendship? Today now in Nigeria, we don't have that kind of circle again. You discover that everybody's not sharing your opinion. The kind of person you are, can you?
I have a lot of acquaintances. I don't want to ascribe anything to any friend. Yeah. So.
I mean, who will share your ideology?
I don't know whether they share my ideology. we have mutual respect for each other. That's basically it. So.
Then are there things that you do differently now at this age now? I mean, in terms of exercise, in terms of food, in terms of...
Yeah, I eat moderately. I exercise.
How many times do you eat in a day? You know, in
Twice.
Twice? Why can't you make it 3?
No.
Okay, twice is enough.
Twice is enough for me. I have
don't
my breakfast and I have
say
early dinner, and that's the end of it.
Okay, breakfast
and then early dinner, maybe like 7 o'clock, 6 o'clock. That's all. I don't need more than that. What do I want to do with 3? It will make you go mad. You eat it 3 times a day in this body.
A lot of people say that you have to eat, and you know you might say you've got to drink your metal.
There's a very warped mentality. It's a psychological thing. You have to tune yourself in.
That's interesting. What's your most priceless gift? I mean, a gift that God that so much love and you adore much. So people say it's their wristwatch, some say it's their car and all that. What's the most prize gift that you got?
Is the faith God is giving you. Is the faith. That's faith. That's the greatest gift. The strength, the inner strength, the faith in God. It comes from God. You can't buy it. You can't. What wristwatch? Wristwatch will go. All these things are rubbish. Ephemeral. There's nothing to it. You've forgotten we're just here for a while. We're gone.
For a season.
And the older you get, I guess, well, if you're with the grace of God, you start understanding those facts that we're not here forever. So when I see people going crazy, or they want to acquire everything, or they're fighting, or they're going like, are you asking yourself, look at this man, is he jammed up or something? Oh, I must do this, I want to buy that. Yeah, it's good to have that.
People have to buy jewelries, buy houses in Dubai, buy houses in London.
Well, that's a business, it's okay. We all want luxuries to a large extent, but...
You want to buy flashy cars and all that.
That's a traveler. But always remember that those things never last. Just one thing, boom. You can't even touch those things anymore. And it's, you see, that's another problem here. That's why you have the Yahoo boys, that's why you have, because these doctrines, these things are not imbibed in them, in the youths. They believe because if you see the pastor driving Ferrari, Rolls Royce, he's boasting and everything, they too want to go and make money. They want to steal.
They want to live like
that.
And
then the leaders as well, the guys in Senate and House, they're also driving all this fashion, making noise, doing whatever. Those young boys is like, okay.
Then the pastors are also telling them that they can be blessed without working. That God will draw the manna, draw the blessing on them. That if they just sow a seed, they will have multiplication.
These youngsters can't understand. So they imbibe that fallacy, that falsehood. It's ungodly.
Can you recall your happiest day on earth?
I can't, I don't know. I can't remember.
So your happiest day on earth?
I don't know. I'm always happy. I'm always a happy man.
And you cannot recall the low one that you have the lowest moments.
I forget things. I don't keep all those things. Can't you see? I don't let those things. I don't just throw them away.
And you're the only 60-year-old that's not dyeing your hair. Why?
Because of God. So
how did you get it? A lot of people have dyed it 10 times a day. Oh my God, that's a real gift.
My barber always tells me he's been cutting my hair for 35 years. So he always tells me,
okay, your barber.
He says, this is your hair. He said, all your friends, their hair don't finish. They don't have to scrape finish.
Maybe it's the grace of God.
I go, look, you better keep quiet. I will report you.
Oh my God.
But my friends are cool. They're okay. All of them are cool. They're alright. The ones that are friends. They're alright.
You've also traveled wide because many years ago I was in this house with the Ovation team to do a story for you, and I think you are just returning from the south of France. Then we used to have this. It's just that you're always going to the south of France and maybe sometimes to Germany where you are trained as an engineer, fire engineer, and maybe once in a while America. Can you tell me your choices country that is pastime, where you spend your pastime, the country that you love most, that whenever you find yourself there, it's just like home away from home. It's your best country. Just
you mentioned the south of France.
Okay,
where I always feel at home. But Lagos is the real home.
Lagos.
When I'm outside here, I like it there. It's
south of France.
So it's
that's nice. Do you have any favorite leader that treats you around the world? A global leader that influences you?
A leader?
Yeah, the way you think. I mean, you have a role model, a global leader.
The leader I really is late. It's Mandela.
Oh,
so,
that's a great leader.
Yeah,
That's
the only one.
What treats you in Mandela?
Sorry?
What treats you in him in his leadership skill? What treats you about Mandela?
He had that intuition, that depth. He loved the world. He loved humanity. He fought. He was selfless. He was real. He was genuine. You understand? He wasn't doing those things for money or for. He did it from the innermost heart of himself. He did it in a godly form. You understand me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. He wasn't a fake man. He was real. He was extremely genuine. With no complex.
Nelson Mandela.
I've not seen any other leader like him.
What of General Obasanjo?
He's okay. He's okay. Baba also has his own controversies. But it's
yeah. Do you have any Nigerian leader that's close to the Mandela kind of?
No, not at all.
You need to work hard to get that.
It will come someday. I hope. I pray.
That leader will emerge, as you said at that time.
Amongst the youths, the next generation, by God's grace, that one will come.
If I ask the final question now, growing up, who you say is the best leader? Which era would you say is the best? I used to ask people this question that you've had from the 1960s, who like President okay, no, let's even start.
That government they were crooks.
Yeah.
They're very similar to the PDP era. Shagari with that, they were all crooks, same as these people, PDP.
So who would you say in those?
Including some of the members of the APC too. They're all criminals, all of them. They're all jaguda. They chop money and they lie to people.
Yeah. So which leader would you say has come nearer to it?
No,
I
don't want to talk to him. None of them. Buhari needs to prove a point to me first before I can say he's the only one that I know has that genuineness. But let's wait and see what happens in the next 4 years.
Next 4 years, eventuality.
Yeah.
What's the greatest lesson life has taught you in 60 years of living? What's the greatest lesson? Let's talk about the greatest lesson that you've learned about life.
What I've really learned about life is that God is the master of everything, procreation, and He keeps evolving and getting better. He keeps bringing better brains, better future, better human beings. You understand me? They've got culture, but one thing He does is that He's always on top of everything. No matter who you are, no matter what you become, no matter what He's impacted in you, when the time comes, He's going to take you away. No matter what you become, if you like, call yourself Jobs or whatever, you created this, in His power and His might, He's going to call you. That's awesome. He is the one that impacts those things. He gives you everything, the gift. But He, the giver, one day will take the gift away, and then you go. And then another generation comes that will come and do better. And then when the time comes, when you start thinking you're so cool, they'll call you. Okay, let's go. We're never ever here forever. Nobody's here forever. It's only God that is forever.
The ultimate decider.
Yeah. And He's awesome. Scary. He's too infinite and powerful. He's too ingrained in His powers. I look at people when people talk and when they try to, and I'm like, excuse me, are you guys for real? Because you need, in everything you do, you need to always check yourself.
To see if you're human, you're mortal.
You check yourself to know that you're just mortal. You have everything, but you're mortal. Because when he comes knocking on your door and he says the time, you can tell him I'm this. Don't you know who I am? I have 50 houses. I live there. He won't even listen to you.
Yeah, you can tell you have a tour, a big tour.
It doesn't matter. It's no problem. It's the end of Solomon Grundy. He just take you away. You remember that one buried on Monday?
Wedded on, and he died.
Solomon Grundy. And on Sunday he died. He said this is the end of Solomon. You know that?
Yeah, that's right.
Rhyme.
Yeah.
So,
oh my God.
and I used to wonder as a child, my God, what went wrong? It's just too awesome. And you see, that you always have to measure out your days and know that you're not here forever. And when you can do that, you will give back and love.
Genuinely.
Because you know you're going back to your maker, and genuinely so, he's going to take you. But it's at his own time, when he decides. And he calls anybody anytime.
That's incredible.
He's too powerful.
That's God himself. He's powerful.
He's too awesome. He's just powerful is even an understatement.
Anyway, at 60, what do you expect from life? I mean, you have a very good name. A lot of people believe you are one of the most, if not the most forthright person living in Nigeria now. You say it as it is, and you are not afraid of delivering the truth to the bearer. So what I see asking from life, I mean, the only thing is that people expect you to be in government to help us correct some things that are going very astray.
All I want to do really,
yes.
I mean, in the next few years, see, like I told you, we're not here forever. May God give us good life and good health.
Amen, sir.
Latter days be great.
Amen, sir.
Is really to contribute to the society, give back to the society, encourage the youth. Because they're the next one, that's the next generation. Integrate, get closer to them, bring out programs for them to get, to benefit from, and keep saying the truth. Whatever, never change. Never ever change. And always know, and for me, the bottom line is, I know that I'm going back to my maker one day. So I also have to be in tune, huh?
In tune with your maker.
Yeah.
But you find yourself in a very big ballroom with 1 million pastors, 1 million Nigerian politicians and pastors. What are you going to tell them as the chief speaker? If you're giving the microphone,
you know what I will tell them. God will tell me what to tell them, but I'll tell them the truth.
1 million Nigerian pastors, 1 million
with so-called pastors, majority of 95% of the pastors in this country are not called by God.
So who called themselves?
They call themselves.
It's too much infrastructure. Is it because it's too much infrastructure or something?
They call themselves. They don't have anything else to do. Everything's become I'll go and write it down. 95% of them, the real ones, you don't even imagine. 95% of them are not called.
I think you call them motivational speakers.
Very intelligent. When they talk, they're very bright.
Yes, sir. And they're very. They can rap very well.
Yeah, very good. So that's it.
Okay, sir. On the last note, people abroad, US and London, everywhere, they love Anthony Kojo Williams and
how can they know that? I don't know that.
No, people that no, you have
I don't know about that. I'm not the television person.
I know because many years ago when he spoke at the Kojo Williams leadership forum, it went so viral. When you say the Lord,
did it go viral?
Yeah, yes, went viral. It was everywhere on the internet, on the channels, television, everywhere. And you said some very honest truth to the young people. Millions around the world heard you. So what do you have for young people, for youths? What do you think they should do to change their life and to also face their reality when a country where the politicians
one of the first things I want to say to the youths, Nigerian youths, that I really genuinely love is this. They should cut down. That one of the first things is they should stop being misled by some bunch of liars. Somebody that will sing and tell them follow this and that. They should also cut that time they spend on the social media and try and read historical books and facts. I'm not telling them what, you see, they need to understand and the truth. They need to develop their minds. It's not about this social media stuff. I'm really honestly telling them, I'm not condemning them. I'm only telling them the truth. They need to get closer, they need to understand how the Spirit of God works. They need to know the Holy Spirit. They need, the Muslims, they need to get close to God. Christians, they need to cut down the numbers of hours they use in abusing themselves on social media and reading trash. And they should stop listening to fake news, trying to search for all sorts of rubbish, and they should stop looking at other people's lives on that social media. All these clowns that always come up and say, oh, I bought a Mercedes Benz, or I bought this house, and they're taking photographs. That is not life. It's not going to take you anywhere. It just keeps destroying you.
Add to depression.
Yeah, it depresses you. Those guys that are writing it, how do you know how they got that money? Do you know where they're coming from? Do you know their background? Do you know what they practice? Why do you want to be like them? Why don't you be what God has created you to be? Go in and search yourself. Create, look, let God, you find out who you are, what you are, and develop yourself. In confidence and in trust in God. That's all I have to say.
I wish you happy 60th birthday, sir.
You're welcome.